I think we're good. Are you sure you want to start live streaming? Yes, I want to start live streaming. I think we are now live with Tech something. Let me just check this camera right here. Hold on. Hello, Tech. Glorious tech people of the world. I am joined by the one, the only Greg Yesazar.
That's actually how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so how you been, dude? How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm actually trying to watch your live stream now, and I'm watching a non-skippable ad. So you're making
Oh,
you're making like
nice.
0.05 pennies off of that
Do
view.
you know
But
I love you right now? You are watching an ad. Like, that is great. Is it a good ad?
it was like it almost looked like a ramen noodle ad, but it was like a high-end ramen. I don't know how to describe it, but like it was
Okay, well,
pretty entertaining.
look what I
Yeah,
got for you.
actually.
Before we start the live stream, we've got Star Wars top trumps with a twist. Now, I thought I knew my Star Wars, right? I was like, yeah, I'm a bit of a Star Wars geek, but I'm gonna throw one question at you and the audience, and you can't Google the answer, okay? And we're gonna see your Star Wars knowledge. Are you ready?
I'm not ready. I'm gonna fail
Okay.
miserably.
All right. So, question one: what does Han Solo say about Alderaan when the Falcon arrives at its coordinates to find a meteor shower?
Okay, first off, you said Han Solo. Who the
Yeah,
heck says Han Solo?
Han
Yeah,
Solo. Yeah,
Han Solo.
yeah,
I should be asking you these questions.
yeah.
I
What's
don't
the
know
answer?
what the.
All right,
I have no freaking clue.
it ain't here. It ain't there. It's been totally blown away. All right, we're gonna put the Star Wars quiz down, and
What's that?
yeah, like it asks like it's some other questions because I was playing like one
Oh,
card each with my brother. I'm just scratching my head. It's like when Order 66 is put through, who's the first Jedi to cark it? And I'm like, Plo Koon, because I remember him, in his shuttle he got downed in Episode 3, and I was wrong. It's apparently some other dude who I don't even know his name.
but they didn't show him in the movie, so
They
it's like
did,
a.
they did, they did. I think he's the
Oh,
dude with the cone head. Do you know the?
uh,
I think I know he
the
got.
old guy with the
Yeah,
cone head
yeah,
with the white little hair
yeah.
bow
What's he?
coming
Yeah,
from his.
what's he called again?
That's the guy
Yeah,
you play in Battlefront 2.
yeah.
Freaking A, what's his name? I don't
That's what I
remember
mean. That's
who
what I
you're talking
mean. There's just Star Wars.
about.
There's just Star Wars knowledge. So,
Uh,
all right, we got some articles up here. I pulled up Baldur's Gate 3 first. Oh, okay. I pulled up Baldur's Gate 3 because I was excited. I was actually reading up about this before. Basically, in a nutshell, I can't wait for Baldur's Gate 3. It's been, what, like 20 years since they released the Baldur's Gate 2. That was a game I lost myself in, but let's get on to some tech news here with rumored specifications of RTX 3070 and 3080. Now, before we even get into this, right, we're looking at around 3,800 CUDA cores on the 3080, 10 gigabytes or 20 gigabytes of GDDR6, and then for the 3070, they're looking at 3,000 CUDA cores, 8 or 16 gigabytes. Now, from those specs, we've got what looks like a better 2080, right? If you compare the 3070 to the 2080, it's probably going to beat it out. Now, I don't think they're going to be putting 16 gigabytes of VRAM on the 3070. That's just my guess.
yeah,
That
that's a ton. No.
like that's just really taking it next level. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
hey, you guys want VRAM? We heard it sells GPUs, so here's 16 of it.
I mean,
So,
if you think about it, they're like even some of the lower end like AMD. I mean, low end, just the mainstream like RX 480s and five. Even those have optional 8 gig buffers, right? So like
yeah,
you could get 8 gigs in a $200 card. Why? I mean, how is having only 8 gigs in something that's worth $700 anything special anymore? That's why
yeah.
people like the 1080 Ti because you get that 11 gig frame
Oh
buffer
yeah,
there.
1080 Ti. I mean, you
You
pick
know.
that thing up for, it's cheap.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can get
400 here. Yeah, 400 US.
11
Yeah.
gigabytes. People who love VRAM buffers will lose it for that price. You put that in a budget build, and you're like, well, even like I wouldn't say budget. That's probably the wrong way to say it. But you put that in a high-end gaming PC, and that's going to sell really quick.
You
So
could put in a budget build, and you'd have a system with more VRAM than system RAM if you only had 8 gigs in the system.
yeah.
I
So
don't think I've ever built something like that
actually,
before.
dude, that is such a good video idea. Hey, can we max
Oh,
out?
another one.
Yeah.
God, this is the
See,
second time that I've given you an
dude,
idea.
you've given me an idea right here. Like, can you max out 11 gigabytes of frame buffer on 8 gigabytes of DDR3? That is such a good video idea. We're gonna get that done. This is why me and Greg do these live streams, just so we can just brainstorm
Sounds good.
video
I
ideas.
want to tag team you with that one. I
Yeah, all
want
right,
to try
we'll
to
do it.
mine. We
Yeah,
can do an AMD system and an
yeah.
Intel system and report back.
Okay, yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to do the AMD or the NVIDIA on the GPU side?
Uh oh
Oh, because don't
no, I
they
thought you
have
meant no
Radeon
CPUs. What
7?
is it? Yeah, they do
That's at
actually,
16
but
gigabytes.
that's yeah. I don't have one of those. I was never sent one. Not that
Okay.
I blame anybody for not sending one because they weren't really
Dude,
mainstream. But
that's all right, man. If you want to cry, like, you just let it out on stream, dude. Like,
I didn't miss
yeah.
much from what I saw.
No, you did.
I
You
think it,
didn't. But speaking of this,
uh,
the successor, the true successor to that, that is Big Navi. So actually, we'll just skip through a few articles here because I mean, you guys probably already read these articles. Um, where we've got big. So there's like, yeah, we'll talk about GTC, V. I'm just gonna mumble that out so I don't get, you can't really talk about those exact words. But okay, so we got AMD's next gen flagship is apparently going to have double the stream processors as the 5700 XT, and it's going to have HBM2 memory and 2 terabytes per second bandwidth. Like when you look at it, we'll scroll down to the specs here, right? They're saying a guesstimate of 275 watts TDP, which is like they're gonna have to seriously put the clocks down on this thing to get.
to keep that power. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty low considering. I mean, if you look at what the TDP of it, what's TDP of RX 5700 XT?
uh,
150, 200 ballpark.
225. I thought it was 225. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so 275 for twice, like
yeah,
for having twice as much stuff
which
crammed
is
into it.
exactly. It's not
Uh,
how it works too. Once you get the
uh,
bigger silicon
what
there,
about HBM2 efficiencies? Is there any
it's
substantial power savings with
well, you've
HBM2?
got
Which I'm also questioning why they even went with that in the first place. But
well, you got 24
uh,
gigabytes of it, so yeah, you're using a lot more.
yeah,
So
well, yeah, but I mean, do you
it's
need 20? I mean, this goes back to the core thing, right? Do
yeah,
you need that much?
yeah.
Some
That's
people, I'm sure, could come up with a use case for it, but a majority of gamers won't realize that they've even
well, that's
got
the
that
thing.
much capacity at their disposal.
If they can beat RTX 2080 Ti, which I mean, this is the thing, right? This is what we're going to talk about with 3000 series coming out. We know that's coming out soon, possibly in the next month even. I'm told it's second quarter, definitely. Like 3000 series, definite second quarter release. In terms of what the specs are going to be, you've heard up rumors about this thing is going to punch hard. Basically, I've heard stories that Jensen's not holding back with 3000 series. And the reason being is because he's seen what's happened with AMD versus Intel
Yeah,
on the CPU
yeah.
side. He's not stupid, he's seen that. So apparently he's not holding back with this launch. So that's, and with that in mind, even if this big Navi comes out, it's really like before it gets bested. Oh man, I love these ads coming up. Yeah, I did go to Chemist Warehouse yesterday, and I did get some fish oil, and I did get some vitamins. Right, to stock up. You got to get your body healthy before you get sick. That's
You
the
guys had
idea.
Corona cases yet in
Uh,
Australia?
yeah. So just don't say the full word because I don't want my channel getting hit, bro.
It gets hit, really?
Well, you
Wait,
do,
what?
man. Yeah, because YouTube's got a thing in that stops spreading FUD. You know what I mean? Like YouTube doesn't want any
But
misinformation spread about it, like to cause panic and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, but if I said the full name, it wouldn't demonetize
Yeah, it
you.
would. Yeah, it does. That's the thing.
No,
It does, dude. Don't do it. So
no.
we'll just call it. We'll just call it the Core V. Core V. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm stocking up my body. I'm getting it ready, bro. Fish oil, red krill oil. I'm taking a bit of a mix here, and then I've got like this garlic vitamin C formula with zinc thrown in. And yeah, I'm stocking up, right? That's you spend like a couple of bucks, probably $50 on vitamins. It could potentially save you a lot of headaches. So, how's that for an investment?
Do you think people really care about efficiency with this next gen launch on both sides? Get
Yeah,
angry?
efficiency's good, man. Like if you're putting together, especially resellers, dude. That's just the thing. Like people like buying a case with high airflow. They don't really care too much. Like they got their high-end power supply, high-end motherboard. They just want the best performance. But the mainstream, of course, is always going to care about efficiency, and the reason being is because then you can cheap out on the case, power supply, motherboard. Like these resellers are like, yeah, we can cheap out on all this, but still have great performance. And that's the reason why efficiency is always going to be king in the mainstream. So, I mean, that's just my thinking. So, we've got here basically Big Navi is going to be a power, it's going to consume some power. Like, it's ready to rock and roll. But I think the 50% is going to be like 50% faster than 5700 XT, definitely. But how much it's going to come over a 2080 Ti and then 3000 series coming out, what's the situation going to be? Is it going to be another Radeon 7 where it's just too little too late? Is
I
that
doubt it. The jump to 7 nanometer. I think
no, I mean
I
for
don't know.
for AMD like Big Navi is it going to be
Oh,
too little too
oh.
late?
Yeah, no, I definitely if I had to bet my chips right now on one company outperforming the other, it'd be Nvidia at this point. I mean, the jump I think is to be more massive for Ampere. Granted, depending on how they market these cards and how they price them
Yeah.
with ray tracing and just stuff that they've been trying to kind of shove down our throats that honestly hasn't caught hold yet for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to depend on how they present it and again how they price it accordingly. But I still think that the power gains, even if they kept all the prices the same,
Yeah.
are going to be enough for them, and that's all they need. Because Nvidia is always going to be the premium brand in a lot of people's eyes. AMD has, more specifically, Radeon is going to have a tough time with power. I think that's something they admitted even at CES was like they're still struggling a bit with getting the efficiency on par with their competition. And it looks like they're underselling TDP at 275 for a GPU that has twice the potential packed into it. I don't see how that's possible
Yeah.
at all. Like, oh,
So here we go. Every episode I got to throw you a curveball. I'm throwing one right your way
good.
now. Okay, so you
Do
ready?
it.
Are you ready for this curveball?
I'm always ready. Come on.
Okay, let me just throw them in mass then.
Get ready. Maybe not too many.
Yeah. So we got here the question: do you think they're going to release the RTX 3080 Ti straight away with the 3080 and 3070?
Based on precedent, no.
That's what
I
I
don't see
think.
why they. I don't see why they would because they always approach this from the top down, right? They're going to release the good cards first. The people that want to buy them and pay more for them are going to do it. And some people who don't want to wait for the cheaper cards are going to bite the bullet and spend more money because the lower end cards are the ones that are more desirable. So it makes sense to launch the higher tiered ones first.
Yeah.
But launching something like the 1080 Ti or the equivalent 3080 Ti
yeah.
would be what I think they do this for. Instead of launching that one first and then trickling down, I think they release the mid to high tier 70 and 80 series SKUs first
Yeah.
to get like people kind of in the lower tier market teetering on the edge of spending a bit more to bite the bullet first. Then the guys that have the money to spend buy the middle stuff first. And then when the 20 and 30
Yeah.
Ti comes out, then they're like, yeah, screw it. I'll buy that too.
You get
And I'll flip my old ones.
exactly. That's what I mean.
What,
Jensen
that's
knows
what
how
I
to
would.
trickle it out. He's like, here, boys, we got,
Yeah.
we got.
And you know why? It's because the guys that can spend more money they're more fluid and they can adapt to newer hardware faster than people who are more budget sensitive.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to kind of play with the higher tier stuff in a different order because you can get them to buy this and then get them to buy this even better thing 5 months later. And
Well,
obviously it's working for them because they've done it 5-6 years in a row.
Well, it's funny because
Actually,
the way like the used market's working anyway, they can sell that for like 80% of what price they paid anyway on their 3070, 3080.
yeah,
Like people will
yeah.
just snag it up straight away. If it's still got warranty, whatnot, people are gonna snag it up straight away. So that's the reason. Like Nvidia's just so smart with that, man. Like, but at the same time, it still leaves AMD where they've got to start firing more and do more and be on top as well. That's what I feel like. But again, it goes back to that last argument we did in the last episode where we talked about their R&D budget and I like to see them win the CPU market, which they're doing a great job of, And we'll talk about that actually. We'll move into that because something really interesting. Have you like seen this? The 3900X is down to $420. Like I
Or is, it,
checked,
is that your first Amazon link?
yeah. So I checked it on
Oh, I see
Amazon,
it.
and I was like, man, like 420 for a 3900X. Like, how is this possible? I thought this thing was sold out. What?
This is being sold and shipped by Amazon.com.
Yeah, so it's legit, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's not a third-party reseller. Yeah, this is interesting. What is it on Newegg? I'm curious if Newegg's
Well,
matching them
can
or
you
not.
check?
That'll tell you
Yeah.
if it's like a
My keyboard's
split.
down there. I'm standing up, dude. My keyboard's down
No,
there.
you're good. Let's see. Newegg has it for $420, dude.
Whoa, okay.
3900X. Nope.
So, what do you think's going on here? Like, my speculation, I'm going to talk about this because we look at the feedback score, right? This CPU's got a heap of sales. It's sold really well, but I think there's maybe a slowdown. Like, I think this is what I'm noticing too, man. There's a slowdown in higher end PCs. Like,
Well, this,
basically,
yeah, no, people just don't. I mean, and I've been pushing this narrative a lot because I
yeah,
want people to understand that while it's great that we have the option to buy a 12 core consumer grade chip, most people don't need them.
yeah,
And I think AMD was expecting people to buy into the hype a bit more than they actually did.
yeah,
And that's kind of like I saw that as like my responsibility as someone that reviews this stuff and plays with it every day to tell people, look, you're going to be, if I put a 3700X, we talked about this last stream,
yeah,
against a 3900X and we did just a blind test, streaming and gaming, I highly doubt you'd be able to tell the difference between the two. And that's what a majority of people do. Like that's probably the higher, upper echelon of workloads for the average consumer. It's maybe
yeah.
streaming,
Oh,
gaming, and
that was
then
weird.
maybe some surfing in the background, some crazy stuff. But you're not doing hard, like serious compiling or anything like that. You're not doing things that actually demand high core count chips.
Yeah,
And so maybe that's like, yeah, like you said, they're seeing a slowdown because the hype's over with. It's been out for at least a few months, and yeah, I mean they're gonna drop prices according to the demand that they see. So if they
yeah,
don't like the demand at a certain price, what you do is lower the price
yeah.
to match a higher level of demand.
Exactly.
Push the supply that you have. So hey, what's funny is they were struggling with supply at one point. Like we couldn't even find 3900Xs in stock, and now all of a sudden that they're in stock, they're cutting the price by what $100 or so. I don't know what that's about.
It's a little bit weird, like techonomics kicking in here. Like there's a little bit more there's gonna be a bit more to the story. Like I think they still got 12 nanometer plus like fabbing hard because I mean we're seeing the 2600s just like for sale, infinitely for sale. Here's the thing though. Do you think the PlayStation 5 and stuff? Do you think they're actually going to use 12 nanometer plus on those Ryzen cores? Because if seven
what
nanometers in such a shortage, it wouldn't make sense for them because they don't make much money on console deals.
Well, okay, so when are the consoles supposed to launch? Is it this year sometime, middle of the year,
I
Q3,
think
something like that?
Xbox X is going to have like the first go at it. Sony's like having problems.
So
So
maybe the inventory constraints were tied to console production. Maybe.
hey,
Are they
yeah.
producing it now?
So
I mean, are they like producing these as they're being sold, or are they trying to stockpile up because they have years and years of console sale experience to reference, and so they're choking the market up front to get the consoles out there, and then once they have a certain amount of supply that they historically can use to gauge interest, then that's when you see the excess 7 nanometer stuff hit the shelves, and that's when you see the price cuts. And actually, that's been like that. It wasn't as bad with Zen and Zen Plus because there was no serious console release that I mean the Xbox One, I don't know when that came out, but I'm pretty sure I had an Xbox One before. Yeah, I had one way before
I had a
Zen came
Nintendo
out.
64. That was my last like hardcore console. Like that's
I
yeah,
had yeah, I'm a late bloomer compared to you, but I
yeah,
I do believe that the overlap is probably partly to blame for this. I
yeah.
didn't think about that, but I think you're right.
Man, there's something. So what you're trying to tell me is that you're throwing me a curveball.
I'm just giving you some food for thought. This is
Yeah.
what is it over? You like 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. for you over there, something
It's
like that?
it's 11 a.m. I mean, if you're down south in Australia, you're past lunchtime. So
Okay,
daylight
okay.
savings,
I'm
man.
just giving you some lunch, man.
I
That's
just wish
all.
like I wish in Australia they just eliminate daylight savings. Like that's just it's so annoying because like I live about 20 meters away from the border, to the next state, and as soon as you cross over, like your clock starts going crazy, and it starts skipping an hour forward, skipping back. It's like, what?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
It's,
So I mean, I could only imagine living on that border, and you're making plans with your friends, and
yeah,
then
you're
you're
going
like,
across the
oh,
street.
yeah, but it's like it's
Yeah.
not just like that. Your phone's like giving you the wrong time. You're like, and then they're like, where are
Yeah.
you? I'm like, oh, I thought it was in an hour's
I
time.
I lived really close to the date line here, or
Yeah.
not date line, but the time zone change here. So it got really, it was really bright, really late at night in the summertime. Like it'd be like 9 p.m.
Oh wow,
and it's super dark or super bright
that's
still. Like
super
the
bright.
sun would almost be up still, you know.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime it gets dark at like 4:30. Like
So what?
there's really no warning at all.
So have you ever said like it's 9 p.m. and you're like, yo, let's go out for lunch, and people just like,
Yeah,
what?
for real.
What?
Yeah, we used to go
What?
out and play basketball in the driveway of my parents' place at like 8 p.m. because it was still bright outside, you know? Like
Oh,
it's weird.
that's crazy, eh? So yeah, if everyone is like me and you want to abolish daylight savings, just let us know in chat. So some people
We should
say
just
daylight.
abolish time
I'm
zones.
checking the chat.
Everyone's on the same time.
People like saying it's good. So I mean, I'm just talking from a tech guy's point of view. I mean, I know there's like reasons for daylight savings, isn't it? Mainly with farmers and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I just hate it when I've got to work cross border with people in Sydney and Melbourne, and they're like, "Hey, we'll take a call at 1 p.m." And then 1 p.m.'s like they're calling me at lunchtime. I'm eating lunch, and they'll be like, "What? Wait, it's 1 p.m." I'm like, "Oh, daylight
It's
savings,
really
get
weird
done."
that like those are just I mean, from the Gold Coast, like Sydney's almost due south of you, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not like you're going west or east, but you're
no,
still switching time zones because you're just going closer to the South Pole.
it's just one of
That's
those.
really weird.
It is really. It's one of the most
Uh,
confusing things in Oz, man. Is this daylight savings from Queensland and New South Wales to Victoria, which is all like
Yeah.
straight line. We're all on the same time zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just super weird. So, but other than that, so we got Ryzen 5 2600 still selling like a juggernaut, and then we got the newcomer, the 1600 AF. Someone secured this is sold out, but someone secured one for $85 for me, and they're shipping it to me. So nice of you guys. They want me to
Wow.
check it out, especially with these new Xeons, right? The 12, they're not new, but they're used, but they're V3, and they got the turbo unlock. And so you got that 12 core. I can't wait to get that 12 core, but man, the shipping delays are so crazy right now. Like, I gotta wait. Apparently, it's an extra like 30 to 40 days on top because the reason why there's a massive, like, there's two reasons, right? Your customs in your country is going to be holding the stuff up longer. That's one reason for like shipment delays. There's another reason is apparently over in China, all like the district to district is shut down. So like you get something shipped from China, it takes so much longer to actually leave China with our old mate Covey. So
Jeez.
yeah, uh,
I was I clicked on that page that you linked. Mine just shows AMD Ryzen 5 1600,
is that
and that's
AF?
it. Like
Yeah, it says AF.
it doesn't show.
It says AF in the code, like on the right, YD something like AF box. AF is the what you look for.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. So like, why don't they just put AF like in the name? Because now like you have to. I mean,
The
I know
naming's
that it's
weird.
new.
The naming is
But
just weird. I mean, it created a lot of buzz to people who exactly our scene, right? Tech enthusiasts. It created
yeah.
a lot of buzz, but the average person's going to look at that and go, "Yeah, what? Uh,
Because
AF."
it's a refresh, right? It's on the 12 nanometer fab, not the
It's basically a 2600. The words like no
yeah.
one's exactly going to know what it is unless they pull it apart or they got access. But apparently, my guess of it having the first gen controller is accurate. Like that is what people are saying is true because it's the same size. It's basically everything's the same. Just the 2000 had a firmware update and that was it. And then I copped a heap of crap for that. People were like, same old crap, man. Like it's just over the internet. You get over it after a while. But yeah, it's the whole reason you put out opinions and curveballs is to get people thinking and talking and discussing. So anyway, let's get over to this refresh. We got the refresh here with the, man, I gotta get rid of this ad. Yes, I do trade currencies, but not with IG. So why are you giving me an IG ad?
That's why you're getting it because you don't yet do it.
Oh man, it's but they like
Yeah.
might as well just say, hey guys, today's video is freely sponsored by. It went away. Wait, no, it came back. Let me try and get rid. Okay, there we go. All right, so they're refreshing, right? But they're adding a 10 core, 20 thread, 10900K which is weird because isn't there already a 10900 like on the
10
X?
oh yeah, 109. Yeah, no, the 10980 is like the high end, and then the 109. Oh,
Don't
that's
they have?
weird.
Don't they have already like a
I'm gonna look
10900
that
on
up.
X299? If you could check that out for us.
Refresh CPUs. It's just X299 refresh CPUs, right? Is there like
But,
a
no,
code?
no,
Yeah, let's see.
but these are on
Um,
mainstream. Like, this is their mainstream
right,
stuff
right,
now.
right. Yeah, no, this is X. Yeah, this is the XQ. But I'm trying to see what are the names of the
Yeah. Hey, do you
of
say
the.
do you say Z490 or Z490?
I say Z. I'm not
Ah,
from
yeah, bro. I
Britain.
follow you there. Hey, like, cause I'm from Australia. I meant to say Z. Like, I meant to say Z490, and people are like, dude, you're from Oz. You gotta say Z. I'm like, no, I like Z490 better. Rolls off
Yeah,
my
Z
tongue
sounds
better.
cool. Z
Just
sounds way better.
I like saying solder better than solder. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you say solder, dude. Can
Now,
you say solder
I
and be
do
part of
say
my team?
I say solder. I say
Can you
solder
say
just
solder? Can
because
you say solder?
solder.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
go. Yeah, there we go.
solder
See,
something.
we're making this a
I
whole
mean, I know it's like salmon, salmon. Like I mean, I
salmon.
know there's like a convention to say it correctly, and salmon I think is the correct way to say
Yeah.
it. But like, there are still people that say salmon or salmon, and no one,
Okay.
no one's gonna be like, excuse me, it's not actually how you say it. You have to say it like this. We're always gonna,
Hey, dude, I saw
I'm picturing
Lisa.
that meme.
Did you see Lisa? I saw Lisa walk behind you. Then she was like, she didn't look happy.
No way, really?
Yeah, she walked behind the door. I
Wait,
saw
for
it.
real?
Yeah, yeah. She looked in. She didn't look happy. So tell her I said sorry. So
Oh.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Oh, maybe the baby's going
Oh,
nuts. I
a
don't
bit.
know. He was cool with me. I mean, I had baby duty when she was cooking dinner. I
Okay.
took care of.
You took
So
care
she
of
just probably
things.
got
Yeah, you go.
she got yeah, she drew the short stick. He's probably losing his temper now and
Yeah.
she's just the luck of the draw.
Yeah, you had that handled. So what we got
Uh,
here is so basically the naming scheme is my biggest pro. Like yeah, sure, we got a refresh. We want to see 10 nanometer, but Intel looks like they're in a world of trouble there already. We've already discussed this so many times in the past, but their naming. What are they doing with this naming? Like I circulated the i5 10400F as the perfect example. This CPU is going to be one of their champions, right? It's got 6 cores, 12 threads. It's got a low TDP. It's going to come in at a good price, I'm assuming. But they're calling it an i5. Like, that's like, why don't they make up a new naming scheme like the Z5 or like the Z9 or like,
yeah,
those,
it's about tradition. They want to make sure there's name recognition, and it's really tough to break that cycle when you've got decades. Well, not decades. I
but
mean,
it's
well,
just
almost
weird,
almost two
man.
decades
It's just weird
of
because
Core I convention,
they're just basically telling people, hey, go buy an i7 2600.
By
Like,
the way, there's the big difference is this is the 10900K.
yeah.
The HEDT version is the 10900X. That is literally the only difference. I mean, apart from subtle changes on architecture, 10 cores, 20 threads. This
Yeah.
is a 10 core chip too, right? So
Yeah, so they got
yeah, I don't
10
know.
yeah, they got 10 cores, 20 threads. It basically looks like yeah, same thing, just add 2 cores, 4 threads. The thing is, no one's really going to be upgrading to this because the 9900 KF as well as the KS and stuff, they're all still the gaming kings. Like there's no going to be no difference. Um
They
games aren't
still need to they still need to fix their prices though, man. Like that's the biggest thing about Intel right now. It's pissing me off. Is like
mm,
I honestly, it's not that I don't like Ryzen. I
yeah.
just hate only recommending Ryzen. Because anybody that asks
It's
for any like modest budget, it's like, okay, Ryzen 5 2600, that looks like your best bet. But I tell that to almost everybody on a budget under $1,000
so it's getting
because
boring.
that's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
getting it sucks, dude. It's like, come on, give me something that I can freaking recommend, you know? And
I have been
uh,
seeing a bit of that in the like I have been hearing a bit of that in the scene, man. Like yeah, because Ryzen is better value. Like you look at the
yeah,
3700X and
it's
stuff, but
hard to. I mean, unless you go like ultra budget, like you do, like you'll do like the Xeons and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like I'm just not as familiar with those. And frankly, you got to know kind of what you're doing to get the right boards and the right. There's certain conventions there you have to follow. But with Ryzen, it's pretty straightforward. It's a relatively new CPU, so people don't feel that apprehensive about it. And that's it. I mean, they're dirt cheap, like $85 for a 1600. Like,
hey, well
come on, how
2600
can
basically, yeah.
yeah, exactly. How can you say no to that? For any budget under arguably 800, $900, like, because then you can just milk the crap out of that budget on the graphics card. You can get yourself a freaking 1080 Ti for $400. Pair
Yeah,
that with an $85 six
CPU,
core, 12
yeah,
thread. You've got, for $700, you've got a killer system.
that's
Like,
it. Left
that's
chat.
all it
Yep.
takes. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're done.
that's it. I left chat.
I'm sorry. I'll
God,
stop preaching to the choir. I know
that's
this is.
it's just guys. Yeah, Value has entered
I'm
chat,
sorry.
and Intel has
I'll
left
get off
chat.
my
There it is.
soapbox.
It's gone. I'm Intel. There we go. So, I mean, basically, when you look at it, right, it's the Xeon, the V3 Xeons are interesting, but with CoV doing its damage, man, with shipping times and stuff, that's like, it's a good recommendation. But how long are you going to be waiting to get your 12 core for $110? And
Mm.
the benefits of that, I'm going to be exploring that a lot as soon as I get the 12 core in, because that's the most fascinating, because it supports quad channel DDR3, which is super cheap. So you will have some other cookie cutter options. But at the moment, as it stands, if you're in the US, yeah, you should only be buying Ryzen. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty much the only recommendation you've got. In Australia, it's kind of up in the air. Like, it's a bit of everything. Like, I still speak to the retailers, and they tell me that Intel still sells really well here. It just must, and NVIDIA and Intel do extremely well in Australia, like extremely well. In the US, I'd say AMD's had more of a cult following in the US more than anything. I think it's got some really
Yeah.
strong roots there. Because I noticed
Oh
even
yeah.
in the FX days, like even in Bulldozer days, they were still selling well in the US. Like they're still selling pretty well.
Yeah, they were. No, yeah, that was my second ever build that was for this channel
Yeah.
about 5 years ago was an FX 6300 build. And I
Ooh.
bought it just based on core count. That was literally the only reason I bought it. It was like, okay, well, I can get 6 cores out of an FX
Oh,
6300,
you got
or I can
done.
only get two
Yeah.
cores, 4 threads on a Core i3. Why would I? And this is when I was kind of still a noob, just
Yeah.
trying to experiment, figure out what actually was wrong with the CPU for why it was only costing $99 versus 130 that the Core i3 was, the 4150 at the time.
Yeah. And then
And
then you boot it up. Yeah.
then you realize
Yeah.
like there's actually, I mean, there's such a thing as having a slower core and a stronger core and a faster core, and
Yeah.
there's also power efficiency to consider. And
Yeah.
so I kind of learned by experimenting on my own. I could have read the articles and stuff too, and I did that, but I'd like to see it. I want to be hands on with that stuff. And yeah, there's definitely
You got to see it to believe it. But you just wanted, the thing
yeah.
is, right? Just confess to the stream as well at the same time. You wanted 6 cores in your computer, didn't you? You wanted 6 cores.
Do you know what the best way to trigger an AMD fanboy is?
What?
Not that all of them are like this, but some of the real diehards are this way.
Yeah.
Is to tell them that their precious 6 and 8 core chips aren't actually 6 and 8 core chips.
So
And
weird,
if you
man.
do,
So
they're
weird.
gonna argue everything. Well, technically, they have two separate integer clusters or
Yeah.
two separate
Integer
freaking
cores, yeah.
integer cores per cluster, but even though they share a scheduler and an FPU, it's still by definition a 2-core cluster. And and then my comeback is like, okay, well, what do you think about the class action lawsuit settlement?
Yeah.
So why do you think AMD felt compelled to give everybody who bought into that,
Yeah.
what was it? They got like $30-40 back or something like that.
It's just
It
so,
was, I mean, it's
yeah. It's funny. I'd wonder how many people claim their refund and what happens to the leftover funds.
yeah.
What do you know what happens to the
Dude,
leftover funds?
I'm sure they keep it. What it
government
is,
keeps
well,
it?
it's a trust fund. I think
Yeah.
it's a trust. So they allocate a certain amount of money into the trust, and then
Yeah.
the trust is in charge of dissolving it. But once a certain amount of time, I'm sure it's in the clause somewhere. It's
Yeah.
a clause in the contract at some
Yeah.
point. Once that expires, that extra money just probably goes back to AMD. I mean, where else would you send it? Like,
Would it go to the
you know,
government though? Technically, like that's the thing. That's interesting. If someone knows in the comments where it would go, if the money on that, because I'm curious to know who would get the money, who doesn't claim. So that would be. See, that's my. I don't know, dude. I don't study that finance and accounting.
No, I don't know.
Like,
No,
yeah.
I'm just yeah.
So, but if someone's
No,
like, yeah,
that's
it would
all
go in
legal.
the US, it would go here. Maybe in Australia or UK, it'd be something different. But that would be
Yeah.
really interesting to find out. I'm curious now all of a sudden. So,
It's a good point, though. Someone did say, Mr. Magnet said that the lawsuit had nothing to do with Australia. So it was
yeah.
just a U.S. thing. That
Oh
was
no, but
a
like
U.S.
I'm
class
talking
action
about the
settlement.
laws of the money left over. Say, for instance, if there
No,
was a
yeah,
class
no, yeah,
action
yeah.
lawsuit in Australia, what would happen and who
Right,
would get the
but
money?
that's an important point, though, is that like it really, I mean, they could argue back, well, they only settled in the US, so is it still an 8-core chip in Australia?
It
It's just
is,
not
yeah.
seen as an 8-core chip in the States,
Yeah.
right? They still advertise it as an 8-core chip on US sites. Like on their own website, they say it's an 8-core chip,
Yeah.
So I don't really understand what what's going on with that, how that even works. Like, in my opinion, if it's a class action lawsuit and you settle, you're just trying to get rid of it. But obviously, there's no finite like yes or no, it is or it isn't
Yeah.
because you settled. So
Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I'm on the side of that guy. Well, give us that voice again. Well, technically it's a 2 integer core. I'm on his side, bro, because I flip some of these things and I put 8 cores if it's an 8-core FX
yeah,
8120. 8 cores.
so did I when I
Yeah,
sold them. Yep.
that's it, bro.
So did I. Granted, back then I didn't
Yeah.
really study the
I'm,
difference. I
yeah,
released a video at one point where we deep dived into it, and I was like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
before that, definitely, I was totally shameless in it because AMD was saying they were 8 cores, so why
Yeah,
can't I?
that's exactly right. Hey, like I'm just the messenger here.
Yeah,
So,
pass that buck right
yeah.
on to the next person.
So
That is not my problem.
anyway, what we got here is an uneventful. Like I just predict, like this naming thing for me with Intel's new launch is just all
It's
off.
really trash.
Yeah,
It's really trash.
it's just off. I think they just need to redesign their whole. Like they need to get on 10 nanometer, obviously, but other things they're doing beside that. Like so now they're technically going to have a 10. Did you check that? Is there already a 10900 already out there?
Yeah, that was what I was saying. So there's a 10900X, which is the HEDT.
What are they
Then there's a
doing?
10900K. The 10900K
Wow.
is apparently the Z470 consumer grade
What
chip.
are they
So
doing? Like
X versus
people gonna buy a Z490 motherboard, then buy a 10900X, and they're gonna be like, hey, this CPU doesn't fit. That's like going to be a realistic scenario now. Like it's dumb. What? Anyway,
I
ugh,
agree.
yeah.
I
Like
agree.
I mean, hey, Intel, like pay me ridiculous amounts of money. I'll come work for your company, and we'll come get things sorted, and we'll give gamers Xeon gaming chips, new ones, value, budget
I'm sure
motherboards.
AMD would be so pumped to have
Yeah,
you on board.
chipset,
So
chip. Well, yeah, I'll go work for AMD too. I don't care. Like, just pay us a
oh
big,
no, but you want
way
to
more
do
than YouTube AdSense.
you want to give them Xeon
Yeah,
based chipsets from
yeah,
like
Xeon gaming.
V3,
Yeah,
V4.
no. But like, I want to
Okay.
give them. They got to reignite their Xeon gaming, man. That's they got to reignite it. They got to accept it. They got to accept that Xeon's better than i5,
Wait, but you want
i7.
them to be chipsets, or you want them to be like
No,
you want them to use
I
actual
want. I want to
CPUs?
have
Like
their own chipset for it, so it's cheaper than a mainstream
I see what
chipset.
you're saying. I see
Because
what you're saying.
this is the
Okay.
scary thing. Like I think X99 chipsets, you can go up and look up how much they cost. The actual chipset itself was like $55. That's
Yep.
before you even get the PCB and the whole motherboard manufacturer's costs. You can get an
Yep.
A320 for $40. So you imagine the difference in chipset costs alone. That's why I tell
Yeah.
people like H310, A320, they're good because you're giving the least amount of money to Intel
Yeah,
and
the margins are.
AMD. Like
Yeah.
so that's why these chipset exist. They're cheaper inherently to make. Yeah, sure, they got these limitations, but if you can extract the most out of it, technically you're extracting the most
Right, but
value.
that's the point, right? You have to
Yeah.
live with the limitations. And they're going to strip it down as far as they can because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, they don't want you to buy those. They want you to buy the higher end boards
I
because
mean,
that's where the motherboard manufacturers also, I presume, make the most
but
money.
I would argue like A320 Ryzen 5 3600, you just get some 3000 XMP megahertz memory. That is like you're covering 95% of the market easy in terms of all they need or what all they'd
Mm.
want. But they just don't realize it. They got to go get an X570 motherboard with a PCIe 4.0 that they don't need. Anyway,
Yep.
we can go to rant, but we'll go to comments
Sorry.
section. We'll go to the comments section instead of ranting. We'll go to the comments section. Let's see what they start saying. You can pick out the best. So ask away, guys. Comments time, and then Greg's got to get back to his lovely, beautiful wife. Yeah.
Who apparently looked a little
Yeah,
overwhelmed.
she. Oh man, she was walk. I can tell that, man. I can tell the footsteps. I can tell the walking style. I can tell like,
Oh,
yeah, you're gonna
I could
cop it
hear
after
him
this trip.
crying. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully it didn't pick up on the mic, but I
No,
could
I
hear
haven't
him
heard
crying in
anything.
the background.
Yeah, but
So.
you're gonna cop it after this stream, bro. You're done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Smackdown, baby.
Yeah, I kind of had to ease her into it. I was like, "Look, I know I finished work at 6 today,
Yeah,
but we got this live stream we're doing, and
yeah.
I kind of gotta be there."
The
Yeah.
viewers love it, so you
Right.
gotta keep it up with them.
So, yeah.
I Here we go. Questions. Frame rate? Question mark. Frame rates are good. Next question. 4K on epic settings.
What
4K epic
question was
settings
that?
is bad, man. 4K epic settings, you are losing money because your eyes probably
Uh,
won't notice too much of a difference between 1440p and 1080p. So anyway,
depends on how big your screen is. Depends on how big your screen is.
okay, true. Best keyboard for the money. Ooh, Microsoft ergonomic. Let's pull that up on stream. Oh, can I get it on
The
stream?
Microsoft
Yeah,
ergonomic.
yeah.
What the heck
I
is
picked it up
that?
for $15, dude. Picked it up for
Oh,
15 bucks. And
yo.
so I was gonna do a video on this actually. I was gonna do a video. Like I punched. I'm not gonna talk about what I punched, but I punched something about 2 weeks ago, and my wrist cocked, dude. Like my wrist cocked, and I was like, nah, man, that sucks. Like, basically my forearms aren't strong enough. I remember back when I was a kid, I was using ergonomics, and then just doing gym and training, and dude, I had the strongest punch on me, man. Like it was crazy. So this is a true story. I got the ergonomic. I picked it up for 15 Aussie dollars. That's 10 US. I had nothing to lose, right? 10 US for a Microsoft ergonomic keyboard, beautifully sculptured, pointed perfectly for your wrist. Nice wrist rest. Oh, I'm selling this thing on stream for them because I love it. Anyway, I started using this for about 4 days in. My wrists were extremely sore, like extremely sore. 4 days after using the ergonomic, switching back to it from mechanical keyboards and fancy whatnot. And I tell you, man, after those 4 days, my wrist started getting really like fine. Like I was fine. And then I started punching stuff and I was like, yeah, it's coming back. Like it's coming back. There you
But
go.
that's a wrist thing, right? That's like a carpal tunnel
I don't know.
side effect. Like when you punch, if your wrist gives, that's your wrist, not your
Yeah.
forearm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like that's just like the tendons or whatever
Yeah.
just like aren't strong
Yeah.
enough anymore because they've been held in a certain angled position their whole time or
Yeah.
whatever. I've never had that feeling before, but I could
Mm.
imagine that would probably hurt my ego just a bit if I couldn't
That's
like
it. That's
successfully
what
like
I mean,
hit
man.
something, even
Yeah.
though I don't do that often. Like if you ever need to, like you don't want to look like a little
That's
wimp. Here.
That's what I mean, dude. That's what I mean. And my boy Rocket Jump Ninja, he got just randomly attacked on the beach by
I
some
saw
drugger.
that dude. He just
Yeah.
got freaking cold cocked from behind,
Yeah.
right, by some
Yeah.
dude that was getting chased
Yeah.
down.
He called me up
Oh
straight
man.
after. I was like, dude, this is why you gotta be able to defend yourself. You know what I mean? That's a big priority of mine. So yeah, ergonomic 4000. I think they got a new model out, and you got to keep those wrists healthy because I use the keyboard. I use my keyboard a lot, being working on a computer a lot, and so yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm back. I'm good again. I'm good again. So if I get attacked on the beach randomly, it's gonna be a different story.
Have you
So
have you ever been just clocked in the back of the head though?
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yep. In a
those kinds of hits,
two
depending on like how
times.
they hit you,
Yeah,
they'll knock out freaking boxers, dude. Like if
two
you hit them in
times.
the right,
Yeah,
you hit them up from the back just below the skull,
yeah,
that'll
yeah. So
your brain will cut out just to save itself.
well, that's what I mean. So like, but usually people who throw punches like that, man, they're not
They don't know how
disciplined.
to
They
like,
don't, yeah,
yeah,
they
that's
don't
true.
work out, dude. People who are actually strong have discipline, man, and they don't go around starting fights. That's what I've found. So, yeah, I've been clocked in the back of the head actually twice when I was younger.
Jeez.
I got into a lot of fights when I was younger, dude. That's why like rocket jumps. Like I actually caught for my this month. I've actually got to upload it after this live stream. I actually caught a fight all on stream for my behind the scenes patron vlog. It's so funny. Like we were out and we're just like, I told Zai, like I was like, dude, just stay away from this gang of like 5 dudes. They're gonna start a fight. So we just walked across the street and we're just watching from a
Oh.
distance. Sure enough, man, like 5 minutes they're just punching some random dude out. I'm like, what? I was just
Jesus.
like, yeah, like you just gotta be aware
Uh,
of it. So that's a good thing. At least they came up when I was like a teenager, man. I got into a lot of fights, so I was able to like identify all this stuff. And yeah, so now it's like cool. You just avoid danger, and the best investment you can have is a pair of Nikes, bro. So if you see 5 dudes
mhm.
starting trouble, you just
Start
like,
sprinting.
yeah, it's like, hey,
Just
see you later,
take off.
boys.
That's good. Now all these
Yep.
guys wear like the loafers now or like this like soft deck shoes. Like
Yeah.
you just can't run in those
Nah, you
things. I
gotta
mean
get a
you
good pair,
can,
gotta
but
get
they're
a
just
good
not
pair of
made
Nikes,
for it.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, what's come out of this live stream is get yourself an ergonomic keyboard and a pair of Nikes.
Someone I think it was Mr. Magnet said
Yeah,
you should get a membrane keyboard for that soft impact so
that's it.
your delicate fingertips can they're not so harsh. So you use some Cherry MXs for too long, man. That click for clack just takes a toll. You're gonna get arthritis in the
Yeah.
fingers.
But no, it's not fights. Someone's like, "Is this fight story time?" No, it's not. But we get to ask some questions here. How much am I missing out on 3600 if I got 2600? That's actually a really good question because it depends, right? You're going to see benchmarkers. A lot of benchmarkers throw 3200 megahertz speeds with the 3600. I've found with 2600. I've found with a lot of 2600s, they won't even reach 3200 megahertz, especially like XMPs out of the box. You'll only get to like 3000 megahertz, 3066. And so the 3600, however, that you can, like, I've gone up to 3600. I haven't had one 3600 chip that's had a problem running 3600 megahertz XMP. So the IMC is much better, but also the 7 nanometer and the IPC is better. Plus the boost out of the box is really good too. So for me, whenever someone asks me between the two, I'm like, get the 3600 all the way, especially if you're not like know how to tune the things 100%. Because the
But if you already have the 2600 though, like that's I mean, because if
do you need more? That comes down to the question. Well,
yeah,
it comes down to the question of do you need more? So like,
yeah, that's the problem. It's kind of hard to answer a question like that without knowing what exactly your workload is like, and if you honestly see issues that you think could be resolved by the upgrade. Because a 3600 is basically as close to Intel counterparts as you can get. Like it's almost tit for tat. Like you're not really going to see. Like again, blind test, I doubt you'd notice much of a difference in most games, if any difference at all. But a 2600 is still going to pull 80 to 90% of those frames, I would say, ballpark. And you're going to get. I mean, this isn't an Intel versus AMD thing, but yeah, I don't think if you already have a 2600, I would wait. Well, because I doubt you're not content.
That's what I mean. Every time someone asks, should I upgrade to from this, we've got another one like, should I upgrade to a 10900K from a 9900K? No, because you don't know. If you don't know yourself that you need the upgrade, then what's the point? Like you don't actually need it. Like when I upgraded to the 18 core from the 8-core Xeon I was using before, I needed that upgrade. I was getting slowed down in Premiere Pro and I was smashing these videos together. I was like, yeah, this is the bottleneck now. Went to the 18-core, man. This thing is unstoppable. And
you didn't have to ask if you needed the upgrade. I knew you needed it.
I knew I needed it.
You knew there was a problem. Yeah.
And that was alleviated. Now, storage is another thing I'm going to be focusing on. Like, even though I've got a really good drive, a Samsung Pro 2 terabyte in the NVMe M.2, I'm thinking like I was saying to Intel, like I went to their storage day and they had some of these really crazy SSDs. I'm like, look, I'd love to try one of those in my main system for editing videos just to see the difference, because I think SSDs as well is a big bottleneck for workstations. And so that's like I want to test that theory though, but like just trial it out, because a final render time is like, seriously guys, final render time is like the smallest part of the equation I can think of when it comes to working. Most CPUs are going to be able to do it fine. Like what? You put your computer on render, go have a cup of tea or do some other work. So for me, final render times really wasn't an issue, even going from 8 cores to 18 cores. It was all the little things in between. If I've got 2 other folders and another application open and I got all this other stuff open, I got to be able to keep moving and keep moving smoothly. And if I don't,
I was going to tell you, depending on how you have your, like, what are you using right now for your editing? Or is it an Intel system?
Yeah.
Is it the
Intel
HDT?
Yeah.
So yeah, because that's what I use. And the reason why I use Intel NVIDIA is because of the CUDA acceleration in Premiere, and then the hardware encoding and quick sync for the i7 or the i9. So your i9 is 8-core 16-thread, and your 18-core 36 thread.
I've got 18-core 36 thread.
Right.
Overclocked.
Right. I bet you my Core i9 8-core renders faster than your 18-core.
I wouldn't doubt it. I bet you. And you're using QuickSync, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Which is why I would question the use of an 18. That's why I don't use it. Like I have an 18-core 1080. It's
because I edit Sony codecs, man. They're CPU heavy.
You don't use. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not using all that fancy hardware Canucks transcoding stuff, man. It's
hardware Canucks.
Yeah, that's like I remember them making videos like you could transcode it, and I'm going to put on my Dimitri voice, and you could transcode it. Oh wait, you put on the Dimitri voice. I can't think of the Dimitri voice right now.
Oh my god!
You could transcode it and get the maximum performance. Ah man, I'm terrible. My Dimitri voice is off. I used to be able to do it really well, but now it's bad. You want to have a crack at it? Do a Dimitri voice.
No, God, no. Oh my god, no. Man. No. Oh god.
So I just remember him doing some video about transcoding, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not sitting there like transcoding 50 files. Like that's just.
But
time
it's
out
not that. I don't do that. No, it's just like I just pull them onto my timeline It scrubs faster because it's using the second GPU, the IGP. And when I render, it renders faster. That's literally those are the only two things I use.
Yeah.
But I have to have UHD graphics installed.
Oh,
That's
man.
the only thing, the only caveat. But it's not really a downside. I mean,
Shots at hardware Canucks. Who's next?
I know.
Oh, man.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily all about core count if you know how to, if you're utilizing as much of the hardware as you can. That's one of the reasons why I don't use Ryzen yet, is because of Premiere. It's really just Premiere's fault.
I would yell Tech YES Lovin. I would yell it, but the problem is I got a headset mic on. It's just going to like blow the microphone up. So I will just pull off my head. Actually, should I pull it off and then I'll be off camera and you'll hear Tech YES Lovin. I'll yell it from my balcony, all right? All right, we'll just do it. Hang on, just wait here.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I know he can't hear what I'm saying right now, but like he literally like it's like I gotta go take a piss. He just goes right out to his balcony and just takes a piss on the balcony. All right, don't tell him I said that.
Dude, my neighbors are gonna be like, "What? Call the cops, bro? What was that?"
There's like someone's got a gun.
Oh man, it was when this Corsair power supply like just went boom, dude. Like there was literally like a report. Like they thought it like it was a shot. So anyway, right.
All right, that was pretty good.
All right, so you enjoyed that? Yeah, we're getting back to chat.
Yeah. Oh, if I enjoyed it, I know that all of them they had.
Oh yeah, they. Hey man, no asky, no getty, dude. That's like the whole thing with deals hunting too, man. That's why I tell my audience you gotta ask for stuff. But like the problem is after you do it once, people are like, oh man, can you say this? Can you say this? Can you say this? Can you say this? It's like, nah, just one per episode. One curveball for the audience per episode. So that's what we'll stick with. I'm just reading chats and my head's gonna be down there. But also, we've got to like shill these Corsair headsets for the stream just quickly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I gotta get my new headset.
Okay.
Virtuosos, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. So I put a pop filter on this one because I did hear a bit of popping last episode. So hopefully that's all fixed. I got to watch it back afterwards and see. But yeah, like perfecting this thing. That people were saying the audio is really good coming out of it. So I like the fact that you can just move around everywhere and people can still hear you. So like you can just keep moving around and.
Is it a wireless option too?
It does. I don't do anything wireless when you've got to rely on connectivity. So, yeah, something weird happens and you go blah blah. Hey guys. So anyway, you're a beautiful man. Your wife is lucky. This will be the last question of the day. What kind of computer does she use? What computer does Mrs. Salazar use?
Oh, is that for me? Oh,
yeah, it's for you.
Okay, so She's kind of in between builds. She doesn't use a PC a lot now because of the baby, but she used to use a Ryzen 7 2700 and the 5700 XTs weren't out at the time. What was she using? Vega. I think it was a Vega 56 AIB card. I want to say. So she was all AMD actually.
Is she is she low key AMD fanboy?
No, she's not. She's actually an Intel fanboy.
Fangirl. Oh really? Okay. Low key.
Fangirl.
Yeah. You always got to be low key. Yeah.
Her original system that when I met her system had a Core i7 4771 in it, which is interesting. I didn't know that even existed. But it's basically like a slightly lower clocked 4770K.
Yeah. And
yeah, she used that to play CS:GO when she was playing, kind of going pro or whatever she was doing. And I kind of switched. I switched to Ryzen at the time because Intel didn't really have any high core count options that weren't HEDT that were running really hot.
Yeah.
And she streamed a lot, so it just made more sense. But
okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, we've got one more juicy question. Is an Acer KG25 1Q worth $60 used? Sounds pretty good. 25 inches, like relatively new. I don't know the exact model, but I'm going to say yes. And then we've got the super chat. Great work, guys. I love this stream, and both of you make awesome videos. Do you suggest buying any hardware now if you need an update? Oh man, CoV is making prices go up, so it's difficult to say because usually I'm like, well, we know the RTX 3000's coming. Get your power supply, get your stuff now. because when the GPUs come out, people build new systems and all that other stuff goes up. But the problem is everything, like the prices are all over the place now, man. Like GPUs have gone up since 2 months. Like 2 months ago, right before Christmas was actually the best time to buy. There was GPU prices were good, like really good, in Australia especially. SSD prices were fine, and then all this has hit. SSDs have gone up. RAM's probably going to go up more too. And so yeah, I can't really tell you that one, man. I'm delirious about it as well. And here's the thing, I've got guys now on Facebook Marketplace. Hear this out. I figured this out this morning. They follow me on Marketplace, and as soon as I list something, they report my ads. So my ad gets demoted to the bottom. I know who you guys are now. I'm aware of it. Thank you very much. But like, it's so petty, bro. Hey, I'm just like, oh god, like seriously.
The problem with Facebook Marketplace too is it's tied to your profile. So it's not like you can make a new profile or whatever, start clean. Like it's all tied to your personal account.
The problem mine is it's just it's bogus reports. They don't have a system in place to detect spam reports. Like that's the problem. They don't actually have a human saying, okay, this guy's ad's fine. Let's immune it to this crap. Instead, they've allowed these haters to come on board. So I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so I'll figure it all out in the next couple of weeks. I got something in the process, but yeah, I've been listening to a bit of Rage Against the Machine. Know Your Enemy. So, but it's good.
Is that your medium? Is that the one you use the most to sell? Is it Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, Marketplace is huge, man. That's the thing. Marketplace is huge, and the thing about it is, I'm glad it's happened in a low season anyway. This is a real low season. So if it happened around Christmas, I'd be really annoyed because that's really good season to be selling. But now I'm grateful they've alerted me of what's going on during low season. So now I've got my countermeasures coming in place, baby. So there you go. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's just, it's the kind of crap. It's like every industry, man. I was looking for some car parts for my car, and like there's like this company's making car parts, that company's making car parts, and they're all just bad mouthing each other. I'm like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, what you're doing, you're always in a crab pot, bro, and you can just never crawl out. Hey, like for every crab that's trying to get out, it's two pulling him back down into the crab pot, man. Like, and it's just this, like, I don't know, man. Like, anyway, I can go on about it all day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week for the episode 2 of Tech Something. And yeah, we're getting.
I love that name.
Yeah, we're just all. It's more casual. I mean, we talk tech at the start of the episode, but I'm kind of enjoying more of the free chat with the audience and you.
That's cool too.
So yeah, but that's but of course, people always want to hear our opinions on all the new stuff. So new stuff is tied to the used stuff. It's all tied together. One big web of entanglement. So I'll get a thumbnail and a timetable done after this. Greg, do you have anything else you want to say before we get on out of here?
No, not really.
Do you want another Star Wars question?
No, God, please no. I am the worst when it comes to Star Wars trivia.
Oh wait, here, let's go. Oh, one more. What planet was Bail Organa the senator of? A, Dagobah. B, Alderaan. C, Tatooine.
I don't even know who that is. I'm just gonna say the middle one, the second one you said.
B, Alderaan. You got it, bro. You got it. Your Star Wars
actually
knowledge.
Lied. I'm actually a freaking Star Wars king.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
You knew that. You were just low
level.
key. Like I didn't know.
I'm that good. I don't even need to. Even need to watch the movies to know the answers to these questions.
All right. Anyway, before we go, as well, favorite Sith and favorite Jedi.
Oh God. Okay, General Grievous.
Yep.
Because he's unique, the way that he can manipulate the Force as like a kind of a bionic type dude. And then Mace Windu.
Okay. Yep. All right. I'm going with Obi-Wan and also Darth Tenebrous. Yeah, bro. All right.
I should have said Darth Plagueis.
All right. Anyway. Low key. I reckon Tenebrous was the strongest Sith to ever live. Low key. Anyway.
I heard that Plagueis was the one that was able to prevent other people from dying.
That's the tale. Darth Plagueis. Have you ever heard Darth Plagueis the Wise? Oh,
I was wondering if you would catch up.
I watched episode 3, man. I rewatched it, and it's still my favorite of all time, man. I love it. There's
no way. I know. I love it. I love the remakes.
Palpatine.
I know people give them crap, but I actually liked
man.
it. Like what? that was a real story, though, right? I mean, it was a story, but it was real. I thought it was a real thing. I didn't know that it was
Yeah,
a
it was
made
real,
up
dude.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Palpatine.
it was. Yes.
Yeah,
So
did immortal. Yeah,
he actually existed, though.
yeah,
Darth Plagueis
yeah,
existed, right?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Palpatine did him.
That's who I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, Darth Jar
Yep.
Jar's
That's who
good.
I'm changing my answer
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. We'll
You
catch you
say
in the
Darth Jar Jar.
next. Yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Tech something, throwing some tech curveballs. Thanks for my man Greg for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Yeah, but just wait. I'm gonna say as well. In terms of when the streams come out, it's just when me and Greg have time to do them, and so they're like, there's no set date, set time. It's just like, hey, we want to stream for you guys and talk about tech, and just
We'll work on
interact.
it. We'll
yeah,
try to be more.
we'll
We
try.
gotta get habitual at some point.
Yeah, we'll try to be more consistent, but I think, yeah. Anyway, you can do the outro. Go for it.
All right. Peace out for now, boy.
Now, one more time, dude. We gotta get a bit more. Can you say do like before we go? Just do like a little bit like, hey, I just got upstairs for a live stream. Like, give us a little bit of a prologue.
My...
Yeah, prelude
all right.
to this.
Well, we appreciate you guys all watching our live stream, and I'm gonna get dunked on after this.
That's good. That's good. Keep going. Keep going.
We're ready to start tackling more crocodiles out in the alleyway, but that's what you guys do, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and wallabies.
In wallabies, that's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Wallabies.
Wallabies.
Watch out for the dingoes. Eat your babies. Happens all the time, I hear. Okay. Is there any other stereotypical stuff I can say?
Yeah.
I have no idea. You do it. You end it. You got to end on a good note. That was terrible.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, so I'm gonna do it. Okay. So yeah, guys, I just got back from up north, and I just couldn't stand the people up there. You know, like they're just telling me like, yo, you got to get this 9,900K, and I was like, no.
You sound
dude,
Canadian.
I've got to get like a 2,600 for that budget. Anyway, guys, with that all out of the way, I'll catch you in the next live stream very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.